Hi, this is Kenyetta with the godblog.org, and welcome to Parsha with a Passion. Today is our second reading in our annual Torah reading cycle, and today's Parsha is called Noach. And today we're going to talk about the patriarch Noah. After Adam and Eve disobeyed God and they were put out of the garden, corruption and lawlessness covered the land from generation to generation, so much so that God said, I'm going to start over again. I'm going to destroy humanity. God called Noah a righteous man, and his wife and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, to go into an ark while God sent rain upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, destroying all of creation. Well, after the flood, we're going to get into the point of what I'd like to discuss today. After the flood, sin still was a problem. We see in Genesis chapter 9, Noah had a little bit too much to drink, and he went into his tent. Now, what we want to talk about today is something in the Jewish world we call Lashon Hara, which is gossip. Well, after Noah went into his tent, undressed, and had a little bit to drink, his son Ham came into his tent, saw his father's nakedness, and told his brothers. I believe that this is Ham's sin. Now, there is a lot of controversy concerning what Ham's sin could have been. And I am of the mind, along with, there's a lot of Jewish scholars in agreement, that I'm in agreement with, that Ham's sin was Lashon Hara. That he saw his father's nakedness, and he went to tell his brothers. Oh, this is very grievous in the heart of God. You know, when God trusts us with others' hearts, we're not supposed to tell each other's secrets. We're supposed to have his heart in confidence, God's heart, as if we were handling God himself. And when Ham saw his father's nakedness and went to tell his brothers, Shem and Japheth, took a covering and walked backwards and covered their father. And we're supposed to cover one another. We're not supposed to tell each other secrets. We're not supposed to expose each other. We're not supposed to talk bad about each other. And I truly believe that this was Ham's sin. Now, there has been controversy over the ages over this curse. Noah cursed, made a pronouncement, but not on Ham, but on Canaan, Ham's youngest son. Ham had several sons. One of their names was Mizraim, which is another word for Egypt. Phut was another son, which is another name for Libya. And Cush was another son, which most people from sub-Saharan Africa could be called Cushite. They were dark-skinned people, and I believe as a woman of African descent, I am probably a descendant of Cush. Does that qualify this ongoing debate of whether people of color are cursed? We know that a lot of times during slavery, people who were proponents of slavery used the curse of Ham as to keep people of color in bondage. Ham was never cursed. It was Canaan who was cursed. And Ham's other sons, Cush, Mizraim, and Phut, were never cursed. And so we see that God is so displeased with Lashon Hara, with gossip, with slander, with exposing one another. We're supposed to cover one another. We're supposed to keep each other's secrets. We're supposed to, even if we see one another at fault, bring each other into holiness and righteousness, like Shem and Jephthah, who walked backwards and covered their brother, not exposing his sin, not exposing their father's sin. They covered their father, not exposing his sin. And so, as brothers and sisters in Messiah Yeshua, it is so important that we be like Shem and Jephthah, and that we not look upon each other's sin, but we cover one another. If you would like to read this Torah portion in its entirety, please click the link below. Thank you, and stay tuned for our next Torah portion. Bless you, and thank you. Amen.